You guys have no idea how long it took me to think of a topic. It literally came to me last night, and the assignment is due tomorrow. But I have one. And you guys will never guess what it's about. So I was reading this article here by Tiidenberg, and I realised that maybe, just maybe, the shallowest form of self-quantification might actually be the one that shows us as like our true selves the most. Hang on. But Daniel, how does taking photos and videos of yourself qualify as quantitative data? Well, in the same way that Fitbits and other smart devices collect data from your body, taking a photo or video of yourself collects the physical data of, of your body, of what you look like, how you act. And when you stop to consider that the videoed and photoed selfie self is a quantified version of yourself, you start to understand that it might actually be one of the best ways in which we can quantify ourselves. But in order to do that, we need to weigh up some of the pros and cons of each type of quantified self. So, hang on a second. Alright, that's a bit better. So, firstly, let's compare the two types of devices that I'm talking about as far as quantifying yourself. You've got the Fitbit, and then you've got, like, not just Fitbit, but like all the different devices that turn you into numbers and whatnot. Then you've got the cameras, which capture physically what you look like, sound like, act like, who you are as a person as far as other people see you. So ease of use probably goes to the Fitbit, because unlike the camera that you have to turn on, point towards yourself, have a bit of a chat, show your point of view or what you're doing, the Fitbit just kind of sits there and does its thing and you have quantified data at the end. However, accessibility probably goes to the cameras, because you've got phones and whatnot that pretty much everyone has a camera nowadays. Not everyone has a device that they can strap to themselves in that way. So another point to the camera. The next thing is whether or not you over quantify yourself. Some people argue that devices like the Fitbit or the Apple Watch or other quantified self devices can over quantify yourself, and it can be hazardous to things like your way of life and how you go to get insurance and all these other sorts of things that you wish to do that you can't because you are now a bunch of numbers. With the camera, sure, you can maybe show things that aren't too great, and the insurance company might follow your vlog or something like that, or add you on Snapchat, but it's a lot less likely that it's going to be life-ruining in the same way that these devices are. Thirdly is your audience. There are countless amounts of vlogs and Instagram accounts and Snapchat users and whatnot that utilize this way of quantifying yourself to reach a wider audience. I'm going to focus on YouTube when I talk about people like Fun for Louie, Ben Brown, Casey Neistat, and myself. I'm not holding myself up to where those guys are, but gets the point across that these people go out and they film themselves every single day and upload their videos, and people are then able to download, break down those videos and quantify them, even on a numerical form like the devices are, but it reaches a wider audience. And then once you've reached a wider audience, things like marketability come into play. So a lot of people say that another issue of over quantification is that marketers can take that and use some sort of avant-garde marketing that can sell you things better and use and like exploit you through this. But I find that even the cameras kind of do this, but in a little bit of a different way. A few examples are travel vlogs. They're a way that taking those people's experiences and being able to turn that around and market the areas that they go to other people is a profitable business. And there are ads like, there was that one about domestic violence where the lady took a picture of herself every day and then she slowly started to get abused and whatnot and eventually disappeared. That's what I'm talking about when I say quantifying people's experiences and the way they live their life, the way they look, as a way that you can profit from via different marketing standpoints and whatnot. As always, references will be down below for all these things, along with hopefully a little version of the reference up here that you can go to try and help you find the ones below. Another thing to consider that Gary Wolf brought up in his Quantified Self article is how well do you get to know yourself from the data. I don't know about you, but I've learnt a lot more from watching my past videos than any sort of numbers would be able to tell me. Like, sure, from now and then, it's helped me with my fitness and eating and whatnot, but knowing myself and who I am, going back and watching my earlier videos and watching how I progressed spiritually, I don't think we want to go there, but like psychologically and physically, really has had more of an impact on me and the way that I view myself than any sort of little device and numbers could. And the last thing I want to talk about is the status symbol that is these devices. I'm going to switch over to this guy. I don't know about you guys, but one of the things that really caught my eye when reading the papers and whatnot that we had from this this topic, one of the biggest things that stood out to me was how big South by Southwest is, because I don't know about you guys, but I love South by Southwest. And for those of you who are unaware of what South by Southwest is, it's probably one of the biggest tech conventions in the world. If you ever get time, you see all sorts of different types of devices. Especially nowadays, you see a lot of the devices that help you quantify yourself. And that was a major part of the journal article talking about how self-quantification is almost a sort of status symbol. The report talked about how all different types of these devices are really important in both quantifying yourself and asserting your place in the social construct, that is, how technology creates social class. And I think one of the biggest things that I take from South by Southwest personally, whenever I watch reports on it or vlogs from it or go there, is probably going to be the cameras. It's been close to a year since I first picked up a device with a camera on it and started filming myself. The way that I view how I quantify myself, but one thing has stayed the same, and it's that I find that this window is the best way that I can express my personal self, the way that I can quantify myself in order for you guys to break me down and get my word out there, my ideas, my physical form towards you guys. This is what I mean when I'm talking about it being the most pure version of the quantified self. Maybe not pure as far as how you are internally, because of course you have things like the Fitbit and the Apple Watch and all that take who you are and break it down to numbers. But if I want to find out what someone's like, I'm not going to look up their numerical data on those fitness websites. I'm going to go to their Facebook, their Instagram, their YouTube, places where I can physically see them. This is why I find that this here is the most successful, secretly successful. A lot of people don't qualify it as quantified data, but secretly I personally think it is the best way in which someone can quantify themselves for the greater public, like I was talking about before, for marketing purposes and all that. It's the way that we can protect ourselves from over quantification while still going absolutely ham with it, like I did. I vlogged myself for 100 days straight. It was tough, but that's who I was. You go watch those videos, that's who I am. That's what I think of when people talk about quantified self. I think about what I'm like online. And of course you do have a few issues such as filters and CGI and all that trash that people edit themselves and they're not themselves online. But it's the same with all these other devices. You can hack them, you can get into them. Hold on a sec. But you have the same sort of issues with the smart devices that you keep on your body, because you can hack into those, you can change up the data. It's all about, for those who want to show their purest form, those who want to quantify themselves, don't want to show off, those who are genuinely into expressing exactly who they are online, to themselves, to their friends, those are the two ways that you can do it. And hello, dog. And I like this way the best. Adios.